I believe that.
Yeah,
I think
but you know what? Going
right?
to Jen's point, there's so many different types of people that do work well together. There's some that don't work well together. There's some that shouldn't even come in the door, right? But trimming the fat or cutting the drama, the drama sometimes not the drama. Maybe it's just that those people don't work well with you.
Right.
Very well said.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely been some clients or people that I've worked with that we just didn't gel well with. You know, the energy was off. Like, and I felt that too. When I would walk in the room and they were there, it was almost like I wanted to turn around and walk away. And that's kind of what's cool with the position that I think most of us are in today, is that we can pick and choose those people that we surround ourselves around.
Yeah. Not everybody has to be your customer.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Or a coworker. You know what I mean? To take it one little step further, you know, and sometimes it requires an uncomfortable decision that needs to be made, but if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good, and you're not gelling well, and it's not a good fit, sometimes you just got to walk away. It's better.
And we've talked about this before, Ty. It's like we almost owe it, you know, the leaders in the companies almost owe it to their people that if they're not a good fit, send them on their way so they can find the place where they fit in. You know what I mean? Because if that's part of your duties.
I'm going to take that a step farther and say it's also part of our duties to protect our other employees from employees, right? Yes. And protect the work environment. And when I was 27, I was a grocery store general manager, in the process of being promoted to a district manager and starting to go into different stores. And I let a guy go, and he went home and killed himself.
Oh my God. And
you know, his dad came in, and his dad, you know, screamed at me in the middle of the store. And it was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through as a business leader. But I had to remind myself that it is still my duty to make sure that the rest of my team is protected, right? It isn't my fault that he responded that way. It was part of the issues that were going on inside of the store anyways. You know, I felt like he was on drugs. We couldn't tell. He made other women uncomfortable. And, you know, I tried to talk to him about, you know, staring at people and, you know, appropriate work behavior. And he just was not receptive. And it was a really hard thing to go through and move through. And I think now, because I had to push through something like that, when it comes to terminating people, like, if you know they're not a right fit, let them go. Don't drag it on. You know, hire slow, fire fast. Get them out of your culture, move forward. It is the right thing for them, Chris, like you said. And it also is the right thing for the rest of the team. And the longer that you allow that person to linger, the damage that it does. And I think my only regret is if I had let him go sooner, before it had evolved to that place, maybe the outcome would have been different. Right. But I let it go too long. Right. And that is my one regret around that event.
Well, when we had when I worked for Mad Sky back in years ago, we had 300 adjusters, and LC would say we have to get rid of the cancer as soon as the cancer starts, because if you don't get rid of the cancer, it will kill your culture. But there's also a way to be humble, or, you know, use humility when you're firing or getting rid of somebody that doesn't work in your culture, because although that they might not fit in your culture, if you fire them the wrong way, then they will do whatever they can to try to destroy your brand or make you look bad. And we're all, you know, careful to make sure that we're not a cause for cancellation these days, right?
Most of the time people aren't happy, right? And if you are honest and you have conversations with them with respect and just say, hey, look, I can tell that you're not happy. This is what's kind of showing me that you're not happy. And I want you to be happy. Life's too short. So we're just not a good fit together, and no hard feelings, right? Not for us. You know, we wish you well. It's the emotional terminations, right? That tend to go sideways. When you can do things from logic, life is a lot easier.
It really is. And we've tried so many different things where, like you said, hiring slow. We have now put in place like a 3-part interview process. And we figure if they make it back on the 3rd interview, that's a good sign. Sometimes they don't. And then we've already cut our loss, so we didn't have to worry about it. So we've slowed down on that, and we've tried to pick up the speed on letting someone go. And we let an individual go, and we tried something new. We actually gave them a 2-week notice. Just, look, hey, it's the end of your 90 days. We just feel like literally told them, you just don't fit the culture. It just, you're not gelling well with your coworkers.
Yeah.
But we will definitely highly recommend you if you need a referral. Like, you might excel someplace else, but just you don't fit in here. Because the last thing I have ever wanted to do was destroy somebody's life, their financial well-being, and their families that they're trying to support. So that's kind of why we used that approach. Now, most recently, there was a situation that had probably been going on entirely too long. No one's fault but my own. But there was pros and cons to it. So it was like, and there was a lot of manipulation going on, and that's hard too. That's hard to sift through the shit, especially for someone like me. I always see the good in somebody, always. And I wear my expressions, my feelings right on my sleeve, and recently we've had to make a really hard decision, but we made it just because it was the best thing to do for the team, because we were subjecting, not even I was subjecting the rest of the team to, and I'm going to call it abuse, even though it wasn't physical or maybe it was some form of mental abuse, just because of all of the extra work that everybody had to do. And it was like, none of us could excel, right? Like, so we're all trying to go in one direction, but we constantly had to keep coming back and repairing things. So then everything stops. But meanwhile, like, production's going on and things are happening. So we're not capable of doing our jobs because we're cleaning up somebody else's job. And then by the time we get back around to actually doing what it was that we were supposed to be doing, or why we were hired to do what we were hired to do, we forgot what we were doing. Things are getting messed up because they're not doing their job. So then we can't do our job because we're constantly worried about them not doing their job.
Yeah.
And it's called the circle of safety. As long as everyone, go ahead.
Even more so right now, people have such a fear of how are you going to replace them, right? Like, the workforce is not there. It's hard to hire. It's hard to find the right candidates. And I think we're keeping the wrong candidates even longer than we would have due to the current situation that we're in as far as unemployment goes and people wanting to work. And it's just this vicious cycle. Yeah. And hopefully we can shed some light on some of that stuff on the tour. Yeah. As far as training.
There are some roofing companies out there that won't even hire other roofing salesmen that have been in the industry prior to coming to that company. Now, is that a great business strategy for me? No, but for them it works, right? But at the same time, I always like to say that you can train somebody to do the right thing. It might just be a little harder, but if they're worth the time and the effort, you're going to make $1 million every day from them.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. That's really not fair that you got a baby as a prop.
Yeah, seriously.
So it's really about the thunderstorm here. So I told Karina, like, you got to go get the boys inside. So she went outside. I was like, just give me the baby. So,
Diego just commented. What's going on, Diego, by the way? World's greatest roofer holding world's cutest baby.
Absolutely.
and my girlfriend Brittany is a fan.
Nobody knows, this is Sophia Love. This is my baby. She just turned 3 months the other day, but she's a bundle of joy, and she's going to be the best damn roofer, world's greatest roofer baby soon. Jen bought me an outfit for her because it says the world's greatest roofer made me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As soon as she sat down, she was all smiles and everything, man.
And you know what? I'm blessed. I haven't had a problem with her at all. She just started talking like dabbling the other day.
And stuff. Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah, that's the good stuff, man. Quality of life. We started touching on it a little bit before the show,
we
but
did,
I do want to bounce back a little bit. You know, Ty, your analogy, and we talked about this the other day, that analogy, and he actually drew me a diagram on the dry erase board. But you know, think of it like herding sheep or herding cattle. Okay,
Right.
you know, you got to keep them all in a bunch. And what happens when you know you don't have enough herders and they have to go back and get that one stray? What happens at the front of the line?
Yeah. Everything
It's
starts to go
chaotic,
away.
man. And then you got to come back and wrangle everything back up. And while you're doing that, this one goes astray again. And it's like, it's a vicious, never-ending cycle, and it really kills culture and production, man.
Yeah, it does.
But it also means that you maybe hired the wrong type of herder. Maybe it wasn't sheep that you're supposed to be herding.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So making sure you choose the right leadership to
Right.
do the sheep herding.
Right.